Alright guys, so welcome to a new series that I'm going to start on this channel where I'm basically going to break down how to light different scenes, because a lot of the content that I like and a lot of the content that I actually learnt from was watching other people light different scenes and watching how they break it down, the kind of lights they use, the kind of cameras they use and whatnot, and I find that very valuable, and I know that a lot of you are probably going to find that super valuable as well. And I think why it's so valuable is that when you first start, you don't really know how to light stuff, you don't know how to shoot stuff, so being able to basically follow along with someone as they're shooting and then basically go out and try to recreate it, it allows you to kind of play around and get that practical experience of actually shooting a scene like that. Now if you are enjoying this content and want to see more, then please consider liking and subscribing. It makes a massive difference in telling the YouTube algorithm that this is the kind of content that other people should see, and it really helps to grow this channel. So for this scene, it was just a really basic 2-light setup, so let's just get straight into it and I'll show you exactly how I did it. Alright, so we just finished shooting the police car scene thingy that we are breaking down now. So I just wanted to show you kind of what we are using, the gear we're using and how we set it up. There's a few kind of cool things happening. So we shot all this on the Canon C70, it's my new workhorse, absolutely love it. We're shooting on the Samyang the 50mm, this is the T1.5, a Cine, I absolutely love this, so good. And there's also a Tiffin Pro Mist in here as well. And we've got the Tilta Mini matte box thing. This is super handy because it's super lightweight and just it's good for flag and light and whatnot. And then on top we're monitoring it with the Cine A6 Pro, which is my go-to monitor at the moment. And we're also doing a wireless feed. We can come in here with the this is the Hollyland Mars 300 Pro, I believe. And this is just feeding to an iPad. So it's just super easy to see and set up the lighting and whatnot, because then you can get a live feed of what's actually happening. But in terms of lighting, it was actually really basic. So up the back, we come down here. So the back here for the police light, we just have the Nanlite Mixpanel 150. The cool thing about this is that it's obviously 150 watts, so it has heaps of power. So you could do this actually outdoors in a street or something, to be able to get lots of power. And obviously it's got the built-in effects as well, so this is a really practical way of using it. And we're using it with the softbox and the grid just to really beam in that light, because we don't want it to spill too much onto the walls and kind of bounce in too much. So that's why we've got the grid and the softbox on it, and also just softens the light a bit as well, makes it a bit more diffused and hazy. And that's only set to, what's that set to? 34%, so it's pretty dim. So for the interior stuff, we've been using the Nanlite Pavotube II 6C. This is super cool because it's super lightweight, and you also have a decent amount of power, especially for nighttime stuff. We also got effects and colors and whatnot if you need that. And what I've done is I've actually taped up, in the box of this Pavotube, you get these little metal plates. They're all stuck to the roof right now. And I've just taped them under some gaff tape to the roof, just like this. They're not sticking that great, but luckily this isn't way too much, and we try to shoot the scene as quickly as possible. This is only set to 7%, so there's pretty much no power being used, so there's heaps if we need to. And essentially all we've done is just use the magnets on the Pavotube to stick it up there, and then that's how we're able to get it. But I did actually use some cinefoil, which I just recently got, and what I did is I actually put this inside the cinefoil and then stuck this to the roof like so. And then what the cinefoil allows me to do is actually just shape the light. So I was able to kind of flag off the sides and really just focus it on Ash's face, so then there's no spill going out over the rest of the car, and it makes it really moody and really dark. And then the only other thing we had to change was up here for the white at the start. You could see the light, so I just brought this sun visor down and put the what do you call this, the carry case, the sleeve for the Pavotube. I just put that up there to stop the light from leaking through, so you couldn't see this, and that was just a quick little hack to hide this light. But yeah, the cinefoil on this has been really good because you can literally just mold it to be whatever you want, and you really shape the light. And if you look at the wide, it just looks like it's just this light up here, so it looks really natural, and I actually really like the look of it. So yeah, really super simple setup. You could probably do the back one with something less than a mix panel. You don't need a lot of power, but again, the good thing about the mix panel is that it's a big source. There is heaps of power if you need to, if you are going to shoot in the middle of a street and you need a lot of power, then that would be perfect as well. So as you can see, the setup is actually quite basic. You just need to kind of know a few different techniques to make it look even better. And now RGB lights are super readily available, so you can get this like really high-end look without spending a lot of money, and you also don't need a big crew to be able to do it as well. So now if we actually break down the light one by one, we can see exactly what each one is doing. So this is just with the garage light on, and you can see just how boring it actually looks. There is a little bit of shade, but it's got this real gross tint to it, and the light's just like spilling everywhere. So once we turn that off and add it in the key light inside the car and shape that light to focus just on Ash, it starts to become way moodier. And when I was setting up this light, I thought I had put it in the right spot, but when I actually looked at it on the camera with Ash in the actual driver's seat, I noticed that was a little bit too far back. So you see in my behind the scenes, you can see that I stuck a third bit of metal onto the roof, and that's because I actually moved the Pavotube forward a bit, just so it actually like wrapped around a little bit more on Ash's face. And we can see if I do a comparison, we can see like with it wrapping around a bit more, it just acts more like a key light rather than like a hair or a rim light. Then I just set up the mix panel behind, and I moved it so it was just out of frame. I angled it towards Ash so it didn't spill onto the walls, otherwise we'd lose that like high contrast look that we're going for. And then the only thing I had to change moving from that close up to the wide was that I just had to boom the mix panel up slightly, because on the wide we could actually see it in the back of the car. Now the thing that made the biggest difference hands down would have to be adding that cinefoil to the Pavotube inside the car, because if you look at this shot without the cinefoil, you can see just how much the light's spilling over everything in the car. Like it's on the passenger seat, it's on the back seat, like it's just not contained at all. And the thing that we want to do is we want to focus the viewer's attention onto our main subject. So in this case it's Ash in the driver's seat. So by adding that cinefoil and just being able to kind of like shape the light into just like basically a focused beam, we can get rid of all that spill, add more contrast, and really focus our attention onto Ash. Now if you do want to find out more about any of the products that are used in this video, then I'll leave some links down below so you can check them out. And if you want to see more like behind the scenes content on the daily, then head over to Instagram down here and follow me at Andrew Murphy WA, and I post this stuff like daily on my Instagram stories. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this breakdown and you learned a little bit more about lighting a night car scene, just how easy it can really be. And if you have any specific kinds of scenes or shots that you want me to kind of like help and break down the lighting for, then leave it down in a comment below and I'll be sure to check it out. And again, if you did enjoy this content, then consider liking and subscribing, and as always guys, stay creative and just be you. See ya.